Welcome to Financial Flight Academy with John Schuetz and Brent Connelly from Soar Wealth Strategies. In this podcast, we inspire families and business owners to build a foundation for their financial future. We do this by listening and building trust with our clients. Join us for this journey where we explore ways to protect your nest and live out your dreams as John and Brent draw from years of experience and guest experts to help you take that leap of faith.
Well, health insurance is confusing, and it's important to have a trusted professional who can help you navigate it. Welcome to Financial Flight Academy. I'm John Schuetz.
And I'm Brent Connelly. We are the founding partners of Soar Wealth Strategies. And we want to welcome today's guest, Charisse Engels of Illuminate Insurance Solutions.
Welcome, Charisse.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're excited to learn about what you do.
Well, and Charisse is in the health insurance business. And when I'm telling you, we get so many questions about Medicare, health insurance in general. And quite frankly, it's confusing, and it's a huge part of the financial planning picture. So it's great to have an expert here, Charisse.
It can be confusing, and I'm here to simplify it.
All right, here we go. Well, let's get to know you a little bit better here. So you are an Omaha native. Tell us a little bit about growing up here in Omaha.
Yep, I've lived here my whole life.
So far,
right. I love living in Omaha. I love the people. I love the things that we have access to. All my family's here. So as long as my family is here, I plan to stay here as well.
Mm-hmm. And so, and where'd you go to high school?
Yep. So I went to
This is purely for Brent because I know that he's going to like your answer. Go ahead.
I did go to West Side.
Oh, shocking.
But I did graduate from Bellevue East.
Moving on.
But West
Gotcha.
the majority of the time.
Gotcha. So, Charisse, what was money like growing up for you?
Yeah, so both of my parents worked multiple jobs to make ends meet, and they did the best they could providing for us. We always had a roof over our head and money in our lunch accounts. They did the best they could. Learning from them, they always instilled in us, have a budget. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make time to do that. And they really drilled that into us. Make time to have a budget and stick to it. That's the second part. You have to stick to it.
And you know, that's so important. And certainly one thing we always talk to our clients about here.
It kind of starts there.
Right.
Really. I mean, that's the foundation.
Absolutely.
So yes, good for them teaching you that little lesson.
So you went to University of Nebraska, Omaha,
Yes.
correct? Now, what did you study there?
I studied gerontology.
So that's the study of people named Jerry, Geraldine, or just variations of that. Is that correct?
It's the study of aging.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aging. So
Just
like
a little
old
off.
people.
It does focus on the senior population.
See, Charisse, what he was doing there, he was taking a shot at me with that. So anyway, but
If
go
we're
ahead.
keeping score on the podcast, I'm still, losing that battle. But
Probably so.
we're
But
sorry. Please
back
continue.
to gerontology.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's the study of aging, specializing with the focus on the older population. And it's just all about the way of life, all the things that go into aging.
Mm-hmm. And so,
Now, that's a very unique field of study. How
Mhm.
did you get interested in that?
Oh, gosh. So I was graduating high school, not knowing what I wanted to do. But my family at that time on both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side, I was watching them navigate the care for my grandparents.
mhm.
They all had different forms of dementia, and I watched them navigate the legal system, their medical care, how do you pay for the care that they need, and how to prevent caregiver burnout. And I wanted to help. I was like, I don't know how to help you guys, so I'm going to go to school and figure this out, right? Because they didn't know. They had to learn it all on their own, and they did a great job.
Wow.
And I was on UNO's page, and they had a new study of gerontology.
Oh.
And on that page was a video of my late grandfather after he had passed, of his time in a nursing home here in Omaha. And I was like, this is a sign.
Yeah.
This is
Absolutely.
a sign.
Oh,
So
wow.
I proceeded to get my degree. And at the time I was working at a pharmacy. So I was doing that as well. Thought I wanted to be a pharmacist, but I did not want that mountain of debt.
That does take a little.
So yeah, there's my personal experiences and my professional experiences all kind of pointed me to that direction and to
Mhm.
where I am today.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Wow. So coming out of college, did you start in pharmacy, or how did your career path go here?
Yep. So I was already a technician all through college.
A pharmacy technician.
Yep, a pharmacy technician. Yep. And then I had other various roles in the pharmacy. And in college, how did I become an agent? Was I interviewed my late Aunt Wendy. I needed to talk to business professionals who worked with seniors. And so I interviewed her. And I loved what she did.
Right.
I never thought I would end up in insurance, right? 6-year-old me wasn't like, I want to be an insurance agent. No.
But, nothing against Michael Gibbons or,
Yes, from episode 3 or 4.
No, insurance is important, but you're right. No one wakes up and says there's a calling for insurance.
Right. But again, my personal experiences and my professional experience being a pharmacy technician, that gave me such a great foundation for health insurance. Right? Your prescriptions are a huge part of your coverage. And it helped me learn my second language of reading doctors' handwriting.
There you go.
So let's talk a little bit about Wendy, because Wendy Salinas was, I met Wendy and she founded your company.
She's our founding agent. Yeah.
And she was your aunt, correct? Now, Wendy was amazing because she helped navigate
my grandfather's care.
Yep. Right. His care. And her story. I know her story, but you go ahead and tell her story, why she chose to start this business that you now run.
Yep. So when it came to just part of his care, she had to navigate his health insurance. So she took it upon herself to get licensed to understand the ins and outs of Medicare so she could make a good informed decision for his care. That way he had the care he needed. So she didn't intend to be an insurance agent either. She just did it to educate herself so she could take care of him. And then she decided she needed to share this with other people, her experience with that.
I vividly remember her telling me, how do people figure this stuff out? It is so confusing.
It is confusing. And there's a lot of noise out there, right? There's a lot of commercials and mailers and phone calls. There's a lot of information.
Actors that I remember from my childhood telling you, quarterbacks telling you, this is a Medicare supplement you got to use. Right.
It can be very misleading. A lot of noise out there. So that's kind of what started this is, her navigating his care, and then she wanted to share it with other people so that they could be empowered to take action and make good decisions for their loved ones.
Wow.
And the plan all along was for you to succeed Wendy. And unfortunately, would you like to share that story of that coming to happen too soon?
Yeah. So Wendy was my mentor, and the plan was for me to take over our agency when she retired. Unfortunately, she did not get to do that. We lost her about 2 years ago. So we had a plan in place for me to take over. So I was able to step right in and keep her legacy going and carry on with Illuminate. And we are doing well today. But yes, that was always the plan for her and I.
And at her heart of this whole business was she was in it to help people.
Absolutely.
And, yes, she could make a living doing it, but it was primarily someone has to help people navigate through this. And I know that she was very passionate that you shared that.
Yes. Our personalities are very similar. We're helper fixers. People come to us like, what do I do? And that's the joy of what we do. I love to problem solve, and that's our personality. So we worked really, really well together.
Wonderful.
And this, Brent, it really speaks to, and sorry to use your story, Charisse, to talk about this, but business succession, it's so important.
Absolutely.
Planning.
It's a conversation that everyone needs to have. I think some people know that they need to have it, but they're just quite frankly scared to have it sometimes.
Right. And, you and I have this in our partnership that if something would happen to one of us, that things will continue. And Charisse, I'm just so happy that someone is like you can continue Wendy's mission. So
me too. I'm grateful for the opportunity every day. I love what I do. It doesn't feel like work because I enjoy it so much.
I love it. And that's how we feel here as well. And that's why we bring you in, because we want to help people and we want to bring experts in like yourselves. So let's talk a little bit now. Let's start out with Medicare. What do you see the biggest misconception that people have about Medicare?
And go. You've got 25 minutes. Can you fit it all in?
Yes, surely. A lot of people don't know that there is cost associated with Medicare. They think it's free, or they just aren't aware that there's more than a premium to pay.
Right.
There's premiums, there's deductibles, there's co-insurance, there's risks. So there's a lot of information out there, but does that information apply to you in your situation? And there's many parts to Medicare.
Oh yeah, let's get into the alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup
time.
Here we go. What letters did they leave out in Medicare parts A, B, C, D, and so on and so forth? Yeah.
So there are multiple parts to Medicare. The first part is original Medicare. So let's just start with what is Medicare. Medicare is our federal health program. And to be eligible for it, you need to be 65 or on disability and meet certain criteria. Okay.
Right.
Then that's just the first part, is being eligible for it.
So far, that's easy.
All right. We're on board. Continue.
Then you have to apply for it. It's not always automatic. So before you turn 65, or if you think you're Medicare eligible, work with a licensed agent who can help you navigate your next steps.
Yep.
Okay. Then
no. So let me just stop you there, right? And don't forget where you were. But I worked with folks who I didn't get to work with until they were in their 80s and had not signed up for Medicare. And so talk about the consequences of that for just a second, Charisse.
There can be penalties for not signing up when you're first eligible.
Right.
So it's just very important that when you are eligible, that you are taking the time to look at what your options are. And you don't have to do that on your own. You don't have to be confused by yourself. Work with someone who can help you navigate that.
So even if you're still working and you have health insurance through work,
you have options.
Right. But you still need to make sure that you have signed up, or what is that process?
So
is it signing up? I mean, sometimes I don't use the right terminology. I say, you know what I say? I say, call Charisse.
That's right. Call me. Yes. So you do need to sign up for original Medicare. And if you are going to continue working beyond age 65 and you have an option to have group coverage, or you have group coverage through a spouse, you may not need to sign up for certain parts of original Medicare. So
buying the supplements, you wouldn't necessarily have to buy those.
You can delay that solution. Yeah.
It's just important to make sure you you let them know within that window what you're saying.
Yep.
So after eligibility, see, I knew where you were. After eligibility, what's the next thing?
So the first part is signing up for original Medicare. Okay. Then the second part is picking your Medicare solution. And when I say solution, that's where I refer to Medicare supplements, your prescription drug plans, or Medicare Advantage plans. So those are in addition to original Medicare. How do you know which one is right for you?
Right.
You get bombarded again with those commercials, the mailers, the phone calls. Working with an agent can help you navigate what's going to be best for your situation. And Medicare is not family plans. So husband and wives can have different solutions, right? They might have different prescription needs, different doctors they want to see. So their solutions may not be the same.
You get very specific when you talk to your clients about, their personal situation, like you said, doctors and prescriptions. That's great.
We get to know you and your situation and what type of healthcare access do you need.
That's great.
So you have a process for identifying the advantage that you have. I think I'm going to say this. Maybe you're not allowed to say this. Tell me if we need to cut this part out, Charisse. But you have multiple companies that you can work with, and by doing your interview process and finding out, when I turn 65, which is still quite a ways away, Brent, my plan might be different than my wife's plan.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. So I am an independent agent, and there's a very good reason for that, because I know one solution does not fit everyone.
Right. Correct. All right. So we've discussed Medicare just a little bit, but that process is important because to illustrate the point of the costs that are involved with this, Fidelity Investments they estimate that a 65-year-old couple retiring today will need $315,000 in today's money to cover future medical costs through the age of 85. So that includes your premiums, your deductibles, your copays, miscellaneous out-of-pocket expenses. it doesn't include long-term care, which
Right.
is a whole different topic that we're probably not going to get to today. But, and then there's other studies out there.
Absolutely. Another study by the Health View Services finds that a 66-year-old couple retiring this year with an average Social Security benefit can expect medical costs to consume 68%. Again, 68% of the benefits that they will receive in
So
retirement.
68% of your Social Security benefits probably going to go to your medical expenses.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
Kind
big
of an
deal.
important conversation you're having with people, Charisse.
Yeah, you need to consider the cost of your health care when it comes to your financial planning, whether you are retiring or you're going to retire early, right? If you're going to retire early.
Oh,
you-
that's next on the yeah. You're not getting away without talking about that. Yes. No, but
She knows where we're going.
right.
I read your mind.
Yes. But yeah, so when we do financial planning, it is a whole separate category of costs that we're putting in there for an estimation of medical costs. And, it's going to vary. Are you in great health? Are you in average health?
Mhm.
Are you in poor health? So these are all things that we take into account when we do our financial planning. So Charisse did the tease for me, but when we come back, a little more on Medicare and an evil lady we call Irma. And what do you do if you want to retire before your Medicare age? When we come back.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. I know you're listening to the podcast Financial Flight Academy, and we are so happy you're here. If you have any questions, please head over to soarwealthstrategies.com or the show notes to find out how to reach us. We would love to hear from you.
All right, we're back with Charisse Engels from, she's the insurance lady, Illuminate Insurance Solutions.
I love that. Illuminate. Yeah,
Yeah, what's
makes it sound so great when we talk about Medicare.
Well, we shed light on your options.
Ooh,
I know.
Yeah.
See, that's good. It's a good name.
John,
Good name.
Who is this Irma? lady you spoke of before we went to break.
Irma. If only Irma is not nice.
We
Charisse, is
don't
that
care
correct?
for Irma.
That's IRMAA. It's really not important what the initials stand for, but talk about that a little bit, Charisse.
Yep. So when you go onto Original Medicare and you take Part B, there is a monthly premium associated with that. You can't get away from paying that monthly premium.
Yeah.
The standard premium for 2023 is $164.90 per month per person. That's if your income falls into the standard bracket. If your income falls into a higher bracket, you might pay a little bit more for Part B, and that is due to an IRMA, income related monthly adjustment
Oh,
amount.
look at that. She knew I knew you'd know it.
Irma,
Yes.
okay?
And it's
IRMA.
based off of your taxes from 2 years ago.
Right.
I find that very interesting because that's what people forget a lot
Yes.
about. Because what were they doing about 2 years before this? They were
Working.
in their high earning years.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Right. And so those are things, again, when we're doing planning
Mhm.
and we're talking about people's Medicare. Well, do you know your premium is going to cost you more because you made X amount of dollars? So, why do we want to look at people's tax returns?
Right.
Sort of important.
Mhm.
So I guess, how do you work with people on IRMA? Just letting them know,
Yep.
here's the situation
Right.
for income.
Exactly. When it comes time to apply for Original Medicare, we talk about that cost. We look up what their income is. We pull up the table on Medicare.gov, which you can look there anytime to estimate where you're going to fall.
Mhm.
So we do talk about that question, so that way they know what to expect.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So can we jump here now? I want to talk a little about the infamous donut hole.
I love donuts.
Yes.
Donuts.
Donuts, yes. Especially with chocolate
It's
milk.
a tasty stage.
So let's talk about the old donut hole.
Well, it can get very complicated. The donut hole
Keep it so Brent can understand it, please.
The donut hole is the same thing as the coverage gap, and this is referring to your prescription drug coverage.
Mhm.
So it's a whole separate stage of your medical coverage. When you're in the donut hole, you have to pay 25% of the retail cost of your medications, while the drug plan that you're on and the manufacturer pays the remaining 75%. This is a drug stage you get to after you've exhausted your initial coverage dollars. There's a set amount of coverage dollars every year. Once you eliminate that, you're in the coverage gap stage. So
The donut hole.
donut hole. So this is for folks who take expensive brand medications.
Mhm.
They can quickly get there.
Right. Well, I still like donuts, but
Easy to remember because donut and D and Part D is your drugs for the Medicare.
Oh.
That is a great way to remember.
great way to remember it, yeah.
Brent was listening.
I
See,
was.
that was good.
Yeah,
You did a
yeah.
good job.
I mean,
Charisse.
I'm a long ways away from that age. But
yeah.
we'll
So,
keep
okay,
going.
what else before we move on? What else is there something else that you just want to talk about Medicare that you
Yes.
think is important?
I think it's very important as we reach the warmer months. People are traveling more, right? To get away from the snow, spring, summer, you're looking to get out there on
Oh, yes.
vacations.
Mhm.
It's really important to look at your medical coverage. Are you going to be covered where you're going? So when you leave the country, it's a good idea to look at travel medical coverage. That way you are protected outside of the country. If something happens to you, you want to be able to get treated. So we'll use the example of Greece. If you go to Greece and you fall down the stairs or grease the stairs
Oh,
and you need to be taken to the hospital,
I see what she did there.
Yes, she did. It's spelled
guys.
differently, you know.
you want to be able to
Oh,
get
quick question for you. Do you know the minimum wage in Greece? You don't know what
I
a
do not.
Grecian earn is? About 260. Anyway, I screwed up the joke. All right, go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about coverage outside the
Okay.
country.
It's important to have because if you need to go to a hospital and get treated, they probably won't let you leave until you pay your bill. What if you need to be brought back to the United States to get treatment? They're not going to bring you until you can pay your bill up front, right?
Oh,
You don't want to be stuck somewhere not being able to get the care you need or brought back should you need to be.
right.
So where do you get travel medical? Well, if you're booking through a travel agent, you're getting your vacation through Costco or a vacation package, book it through them, right? It's usually the last question before you hit pay. Do you want to get protection
Right.
travel medical? It's often cheaper when you do it that way.
Okay.
But if you book vacations on your own, right, you may not have that option. So you can call an independent agent like myself and we can offer you travel medical so you're protected. It's a small premium to pay
Yeah.
to have protection when you're out of the country.
Sure.
I just was talking to some clients who are going to take a lengthy cruise, like 45 days. And they said, if the Coast Guard has to come and pick you up, it's $1 million.
Yep, not cheap.
Wow.
Oh,
Not cheap.
No.
Wow.
So you probably want to insure against the Coast Guard having to pick you up off the ship.
It's an affordable cost.
Especially in the last couple of years with trip insurance becoming more popular after COVID. You know, this is very important, obviously. We're talking about your health here. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
You just don't want your fun to be ruined because you can't get back to where you need to go.
So, Charisse, talk a little bit about some of the options for folks who want to retire before 65. I mean, obviously, John and our minds pivot immediately to, okay, how are we going to pay for healthcare, right? And what does this look like? So give us some options for that.
Yep. So it's very important to consider because that age group before you reach Medicare eligibility typically pays the highest cost in health insurance, unfortunately.
Yep.
So what are your options, right? Well, does your spouse work? Do they have an option for you to get on their group plan? There's the open market of Marketplace, which is also the Affordable Care Act plans. There's private underwritten plans. There's options for you, but you have to look at those to know what your cost is going to be because they're going to vary and you may not qualify for all of them.
Right. And the Affordable Care Act is also, you got to watch how much money you're making as well.
Oh,
right?
yes. Income is a very critical part of the ACA plans. Yeah, because you could be eligible for subsidy. Income is just a very critical part of that. There's a lot that goes into that.
Oh yeah,
Is
we
there-
could
That's a separate
we
podcast.
could really go into a lot of detail, but
Any
let's
kind of
not.
income look back on those for that?
So
your experience?
they're going to base it off of the year that you need coverage.
Okay.
Yep. So,
So
no
you have
look
to
back
kind of
there.
estimate.
You have to know.
And this is one that we're working
Right.
on also together, of estimating. Okay, how much do you think you're gonna take from your IRA, and how much did you make at your job
Mhm.
before you retired? And yeah, it's a fun little math problem to try and do, but as financial advisors, we try to help people and say, hey, if you take that little extra distribution, you're not going to be happy with Charisse because now your health insurance is going up.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is an important thing to watch. So Charisse, what else have we missed anything out there that you think is just words of advice for folks who may be in the market soon for health insurance, whether it's Medicare or bridging that gap
Sure.
to Medicare.
Just know you don't have to be confused alone, right? Work with an independent licensed agent, someone who can tell you what your options are. We aren't just here to enroll you in plans. We're here to guide you through your options, complete an enrollment when you're ready, and then we're here for you beyond that. So if you have questions, is my doctor a network? What's my copay? You want to talk through a health event? You want to talk through the what ifs? We're here for you all year long. So you don't have to be confused and frustrated in reading all the mail that comes to you and listening to the commercials. Talk to an agent who can help guide you through your options.
What tell us a little bit about the sign up periods in particular, because I know, again, people do this typically obviously once in their life, right? So, and it creeps up on everybody. So talk a little bit about those sign up periods.
So 3 months before you turn 65 is the perfect time to start looking at your options. Right. You also have the month of your birthday and 3 months after. But if you don't remember any of that, just remember 3 months before your birthday or 3 months before your birthday.
Your birth month.
Your birth month.
Right.
Yeah. That's the
Don't you
perfect
celebrate
time.
the whole month that you were born?
Of
I do.
course,
I don't know.
It's a good way to do it. Yeah. So that would be the ideal time to start talking to someone. That way you have time to look at your options and make decisions and you're not rushed. Right.
Right. It's clearly a confusing topic that brings anxiety to some clients when we talk to them about this, John, but it's so nice having Charisse in our corner.
Well, she's on speed dial here. So we've got her number and we give it to folks a lot. So now one thing people should know, Charisse, Medicare's got a lot of rules and they have a lot of rules for you too.
I have a lot of rules to follow.
So people have to reach out to you first.
Yes,
right. You
that's
can't
right.
just call people and,
Yep.
hey, need a Medicare policy?
Right. You are
Call Joe
bombarded.
Namath.
No soliciting on your point.
Don't
they
call
have
Joe.
to reach out to
Right.
you first.
You are bombarded enough with, like I said, all of the advertisements out there. Reach out to us when you're ready and we'll guide you through it.
So how do people get in touch with you, Charisse, at Illuminate Insurance Solutions?
Yeah, we have multiple ways. The easiest way is probably to call us directly, and our number is 402-660-9171. We also have a website. That's www.illuminateins.com, and you can email us as well. And that's also going to be on our website.
And we'll have some information in the show notes here on the podcast. So
Outstanding. John, we have an offer for
we do. We
listening
have an offer
audience
today. Go ahead, Brent. Tell them about that offer.
If you'd like to receive a fact sheet from Medicare, just call the office 531-867-3400 or visit the website soarwealthstrategies.com and click on the schedule a call button. We'll be happy to get that fact sheet out to you on Medicare.
Yep, the fact sheet on Medicare. And you're going to want more information from Charisse. So make sure you call Charisse Engels over there at Illuminate Insurance Solutions. Charisse, thanks for joining us today. The half hour flew by.
Yeah.
Who knew Medicare could be so entertaining?
And donut holes.
And, well, without question, donuts.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been great.
All right. Well, we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
That's right.
On Financial Flight Academy.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Flight Academy podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at soarwealthstrategies.com or give us a call at 531-867-3400. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Soar Wealth Strategies. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.